Welcome back to Craig's Custom Cooking. Today I'm going to make a rack of lamb for supper. I'm going to encrust it with breadcrumbs, the Italian breadcrumbs that I made in another video. So let me show you the process. Alright, here we have my lamb chop. It's already been Frenched. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove the fat cap off the top of this. So in order to do that, you're just going to get underneath of the fat cap with your fingers. You're just going to slowly work underneath the fat cap to remove it, and then you keep working it back until you relieve it from the meat. Now in order to do this, you need a long flat knife. So I use my duck carving knife. What you do is you just get underneath and you're just going to follow the bones now. That removes your fat cap. There's a little bit of fat left on these bones. We'll try to take some of that off. It's not a big deal. One little piece of fat over here yet we want to take off. So we removed the fat cap off this. And the reason we do this, a lot of times I'll leave the fat cap on, but we're going to bread these today. So I want the breading to completely adhere. All right, now what we want to do is we're going to French these a little bit more. Even though they've already been Frenched, you just go down between. Show you this so you can see it from this side. I'm gonna hold the bone. I'm gonna go down both sides of the bone. Then you just go in, turn your knife, cut it out. Just like so. Sometimes you'll miss a little bit. This is your Frenched style ribs. Now you can take some more time and clean these bones up a little bit if you want. We're going to wrap it with aluminum foil, so it's not going to make that big a deal. So let me bring you back for the next step. Alright, now we're going to start on the back. What I'm going to do is I have Dijon Mustard. Use a paintbrush that I have for food. And we're going to put Dijon Mustard all over the back of this lamb chops. We're going to put it on the end. We're actually going to bring it up here on the rib cage a little bit, even though there's not much meat. We set this aside. Now we take my Italian breadcrumbs that are homemade. I have another video for that. And you're going to sprinkle the breadcrumbs on top of your Dijon mustard on the ends. Now we're going to pat this in. If you feel it's a little bit, the Dijon's coming through, put on more breadcrumbs. You should be able to pat this whole thing. There, the ends Definitely need more. Take some off your plate. Alright, and that's that. So let's flip it over. Take off the extra breadcrumbs. Now we're going to put the Dijon mustard on this side. And the excess will fall off, so don't worry about getting too many on. Pat it in. Alright, now that we have our lamb chops coated, take a baking pan with parchment paper in it, pick up our lamb chops, shake off the excess crumbs, and just lay it down in the pan. This is ready to go in the oven and bake. To make the wine reduction sauce, I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to melt that down. So let me get this melting down. Alright, I got my butter melted down. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of red onions. The recipe calls for shallots, but I don't have any shallots. Red onions as close as I have, so it'll work. So we're going to brown these up a little bit, and I'll add the rest of the ingredients to start making the reduction sauce. Alright, so my onions are browned up nicely. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic. That wasn't quite a whole teaspoon. Tarragon, 1 tablespoon. And then I'm going to add red wine to this. I use Apothic red. You want to use a wine that you're going to drink. Don't use something you wouldn't drink. So we add 2 cups of wine to this. Now, we're just going to let this reduce down till it's about 3/4 of a cup of liquid in here. Alright, now it's boiling good. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of Madeira. This is a sweet wine. We're going to add 1/4 cup. We're going to bring it back up to boil. And then, like I said, we're going to reduce it till it's about 3/4 of a cup. Now you want to taste it as it's cooking. It's going to be hot. It's very good. And it'll get better as it reduces down more and more. Alright, so we have it reduced down to 3/4 of a cup. Now we're going to add 2 cups of beef broth. We're going to bring this to a boil. Right, my lamb chops are ready to come out. You want them to be around 135 degrees inside. So I'm going to check it with my probe. $135 right on the button. So now we're just going to let this set, cool down a little bit, and let the juices redistribute throughout the lamb chops. Now, in this one, I'm going to pour in a little bit of my cornstarch, and I'm going to whisk it in. Pour the rest of it in. Nice and smooth. So I'm going to turn it down and let the cornstarch do its thing. Alright, it's done. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pour it through a sieve. So we want to get the onions and stuff out. I guess you could eat the onions, I never do. I love onions, but I just don't want to eat them in this. So now we just pour it back in our pan. The very last thing we do is add 3 tablespoons of butter. Mix that in. This will make it real silky and really nice. Here's my rack of lamb. I cut it in half and it's perfectly done. I'm going to cut the rest up and I'll plate it up for you. Alright, welcome to our table. These are the lamb chops that I made with the breading and the wine reduction sauce. And these are the Brussels sprouts with bacon and red onions in them. So I'm going to get you
Thank you.
a lamb chop.
That's one of my favorite veggie.
Brussels sprouts, I know.
Yeah.
I like them very much too.
Especially with bacon.
Well, bacon goes together with Brussels sprouts like there's certain foods that just go together, and bacon is one of them.
Yeah.
With Brussels sprouts. Try the Brussels sprouts.
That's good.
Very good. It's got aged balsamic vinegar on it too.
Yeah. A strong flavor.
It's a good flavor. You like it?
Yeah.
Ready to try the lamb choppy? Very tender.
Yeah. Very good.
Very, very delicious. You'll have to try these. If you like lamb, this is a very good way to cook lamb. It's great on the grill too, but it's like 29 degrees outside today. I didn't feel like staying outside and cooking at the grill. So I made them in the oven.
Very good.
It is. So we're gonna eat our meal. If you like our channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and the bell for future notifications. So you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, gonna try the juicy and tender lamb chop. Thank you.
And the Brussels sprouts are great too. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.